Are you just like me? You love your home, but you're falling out of love with it because you don't like your kitchen? Well, today on For Your Home, I'm going to show you how I fixed that problem at my house, so don't go away.
For Your Home is made possible by
Andersen Hardwood, committed to producing distinctive, environmentally responsible hardwood flooring while helping to create a better planet for today and tomorrow. For more information, go to andersenfloors.com. Andersen, naturally.
and by Ames. Ames True Temper has offered innovative landscape products since 1774, providing non-powered lawn and garden tools, wheelbarrows and lawn carts, watering products and decorative accessories, including planters. And by
Custom Home Furnishings Academy, where the professionals learn to sew window treatments.
I'd be the first to admit that this is a gorgeous house. I love my neighborhood and I love this house, but just like you, there's something that has made me fall out of love with it, and that is my kitchen. The kitchen is way too small for this size of house, and my biggest peeve about it is this elevated serving counter right here. You know, it's not wide enough to really set up snacks and hors d'oeuvres for a party, and this section of it is too far away for people to reach over and reach things on this side. So half the time at a party, I am trapped right back behind here. So I got to thinking about it and I thought, well, maybe the answer would be to get rid of this and put an island into my kitchen, and that would solve all my problems. So I don't know how to do that, but my friend Dell, who's a custom cabinet maker, he knows the answers. Right, Dell?
Yeah, we got all the answers, Vicki. We got all the answers.
I see you doing all these measurements here. And you know, Dell, like I told you, is I would really like to open this up more, and an island seems like to me what we really need in here.
Yeah.
Can I do that?
You know, the things that I would be looking at would be how much space do you want on each side of your island, what's going to drive that. In your case, it's going to be your refrigerator and your range.
Okay.
And what appliances currently exist in your peninsula that you're going to have to recreate space for. And then what are you going to do away with? In your case, probably your seating. You're going to lose all your seating because you don't have enough width in here to create
seating. And you know, that's not a problem for me because, you know, I've got my dining room right on the corner, and I'm one of those rare people who uses my dining room all the time.
That is rare.
I know, but I love that.
Yeah.
And I have a warming drawer, I have a microwave. Those do have to find a new home in whatever we do.
Right. What about countertops? You're going to change these out?
I'm going to change these out. I want to go to something that's lighter, you know, like maybe Carrera Marble, something that's lighter and more airy. These are too dark for me. Even though they're granite, it's too dark a color.
You like the green? You like the green you got?
You know, I like the mint green on the cabinets, but I've got a problem with them, and that is that the paint is starting to chip and peel. And that I'm not happy with. But I do have a good faux finisher that is going to come over. He's going to take a look at it. He's going to tell me if he can patch that or fix it up for me.
Well, I'll tell you what we do. Let's take and see the things that we want to try to create. We know we got to have the microwave and the warming drawer. We got to have some storage. What about bookcases? You want to create
That'd be great for the cookbooks.
Okay. What about decorative columns? You got some columns on your sink over here?
That would work out great on the ends of the island.
On the corners?
A little pizzazz. I'd like that. It is a big mess in here, and our first job after we decided how we were going to fix the problems was to give Jerry from Habitat for Humanity a call. Jerry showed up and went to work on getting our old granite countertops out of here. Now, he had a lot of patience, and he spent the whole day trying to get the silicone loose from here, and luckily he only had one small section that he had to bust out into small pieces. Then all that granite was hauled away to the resale store at the Habitat for Humanity, where someone else with a DIY project at their house will make good use of that granite. They'll turn it into maybe a counter for their kitchen or perhaps for a vanity. You know, whenever you're doing a remodeling project, it's always a good idea to try to recycle whenever possible, because that keeps a lot of stuff out of our landfill and helps another DIYer. Hey, Paul, looks like you're doing some final cleanup work there, huh?
Yeah, getting ready for the countertops.
You know, I am so excited to get these countertops in here because one of the things that I disliked the most about my kitchen were the dark green granite countertops. Now, they were just way too heavy for these light, airy cabinets that I had in here. And I knew exactly what I wanted. I wanted Carrera marble. I've always loved it, and so it was the perfect choice for my kitchen. And you know, if you haven't been to a stone yard lately or you haven't looked at countertops, you're going to find that it has gone high tech and you don't even have to leave your living room. Talked to Paul. Paul gave me a website. I went on that website and I was able to pick out exactly the slabs that I wanted them to fabricate my countertops from. Your guys are bringing in my first piece here and I can't wait to see how great it's going to look. Now, when I told you I wanted the Carrera marble, I said to you a lot of people tried to talk me out of that. And there was just no persuading me. Why are people a little bit leery of it?
Well, marble is a more, it's a less dense stone than your granites. It's more susceptible to staining and scratches. So, you know, some people want the marble look and they understand it's going to wear, it'll wear with you. Granite, you know, it's not going to scratch, it's not going to stain quite as easily. So if you got kids and you're in the kitchen a lot and you're really going to be worried about scratching and staining, marble might not be the stone for you, but if you love the beauty and you love it, how it ages, you know.
I do. I love that look. Like, you know, in Italy when I travel, it's like so beautiful. It's been there for just hundreds of years.
Right, exactly. In Europe, they've been using it for thousands of years, and you'll see it's got some contours and scratches, but it just ages.
And now, how about sealing it? Am I going to have to seal this countertop?
Yes, we recommend you seal it once every year, you know, and you'll actually be able to see around your sink, right around the faucet where it's going to get washed the most, there's going to be the most water. That's where you're going to see the first sign of water soaking in, and it'll have darker spots. If you see that happen, it needs to be sealed immediately.
Okay, that's a great tip. I really appreciate that. Well, I'm going to let your guys get busy and get this countertop in because, you know, as you can tell, we can't go any further until you guys do your work.
Great.
I love it, Paul. I can't wait to see it done.
All right.
Push it on back, eh?
Well, they've got a notch this corner here to go around the trim.
Okay.
Then they're going to go against the wall.
Perfect. You might not be ready for a major kitchen overhaul, but maybe you'd like a new look. Well, try just changing out the hardware on your kitchen cabinets. Because most kitchens, well, they have an average of about 32 knobs. So if you do the math, that's about $150 and a weekend project, and you can have a whole new look for your kitchen without spending a whole lot of time or money. Dale, I tell you, you guys do such great work. I am so happy with this cabinet.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
It turned out really beautiful. And you know, the way that you finished out this peninsula for me, you can't even tell the difference between your new cabinets and the old cabinets. You did such a great job matching up the stain and glaze.
Well, we appreciate that. The guys that we use that match up our finishes do a really good job, and we were fortunate enough to be able to take a sample off that drawer front over there and get it, and it got pretty close. Yeah,
it's real close, especially since you used two of the corporals from the old cabinets on this one, and you can't even tell which one's switched.
That's pretty cool.
Okay, we got hardware issues though. We got a lot of knobs we got to get on here.
Right.
So, what about this cabinet here? What kind of knobs do you suggest we put on here?
Well, you know, we tried to take some of the features of the hutch cabinet in the living room and the built-ins in the great room there, and integrate those with this. And you've got an old style cabinet and then more of a traditional style cabinet here. So we brought out, fortunately, we were able to find the same style of knob that they were using back, what, 6-7 years ago?
Boy,
found the same hardware, or essentially the same hardware, that we had, you know, 6-7 years ago, and most hardware companies are able to duplicate that, and it's a fairly traditional looking knob. So we got this, but we've got some other things that we can maybe integrate with the new hardware that we're going to put on the kitchen cabinets, and try to tie these two together with your new countertops.
Well, you know, I like using the same thing because that really does tell that story. It makes it match the way we wanted it to.
Yeah.
So on this cabinet, though, where would we put the knobs on here?
Well, you know, there's a couple of ways to look at it. I mean, if you want to put the least amount of stress on this door opening and closing, because we don't have a bottom in it to land this door on, you would want to put it as close to the center of the door as possible. Okay. On your other cabinet doors, like let's say these uppers here, you're going to want to take, you know, probably want to put it as close to the bottom and make it, you know, normally 3 1/4 up from the bottom of the door is a conventional.
3 1/4.
Exactly.
Right, but I got to be able to reach that. So.
Exactly. So that would be I'd say a maximum right there. Okay. Now, if you wanted to keep that same, you know, detail, you could do that down here, but that's also going to put, you know, a lot of stress on the bottom.
I'd rather do in the middle like you're talking about there.
Right here, or you could line it up with this bottom line right here and put it about right there.
Okay, so either one of those are going to be fine with it.
Works fine.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever personal preference.
And in the drawers, I assume right in the center of it,
right? Right in the middle, and normally on this particular style oval knob, you would want to turn that horizontally like that, and I think that's the way they've done it in the other cabinets over there.
It is, perfect.
And then down here, you've got a line that's created by this panel detail, and normally we try to keep that line consistent with the location of the knob, which is still, you know, around 3 1/4 inches off the top.
Perfect, that's great information.
Is that cool?
Yeah, that's great, and I love that we're able to match these knobs. Yeah. Now, in the kitchen, you've brought a lot of other knobs here because I want to change the hardware in here. I want to get rid of these old copper color because they're always kind of too southwest looking for me. Right. You know, and I wanted to go to something that is more silver. And, you know, they had the brushed nickel, and then they had, you know, the sterling nickel, as they called it, and that's what I chose here. Do you think that I can use these pulls, these cup pulls, on my drawers here? Well, let's look at what we've got. We've got a flat that will allow us to get the surface of this pull on, you know, mounted on the front. If, you know, if we were using a conventional 2-hole handle, we couldn't do that because we've got a single-hole knob and you're not refinishing the cabinet. In order to cover that up, you got to use a solid pull. So this will work. You're going to still have a hole in your drawer front. But you won't see it. But you're going to cover it up, correct. Okay. Now, we're going to be drilling new holes, and you said you have a trick so we don't get this kind of blowout right here. Do we drill it from the front or the back? You drill it from the front, and you know, because all your layout's done with respect to the front of the drawer front itself. Okay. What you do is when you're drilling this, and this is a fairly thin piece, you would probably want to use at least a 3/4 inch thick piece, but for clarity, we just got this little shim here. You would want to put that behind the hole as you're drilling through, so that when your drill bit blows through the drawer box, it doesn't flake that off. Okay, so it supports it and you don't end up with a big mess like that. That's exactly right. Great, great. Now, I've got a lot of different hardware here to work with, and you know, I looked at these and I love these glass knobs, but I thought with as many as we have in here, because we've got about 30 knobs, that'd be kind of overpowering. Yeah, it is, and it's actually a little bit more antique-y looking than what you've got here. Yeah, I mean, your style of your cabinets is not quite as old as that, and then you've got a little decorative flower type. And now, were we going to pick up that flower detail somewhere else in the kitchen? No, and I just thought too many of flowers. By the time I got all the way around the room, it just looked like a garden in here. There's a lot of it, yeah. Okay, these I thought were very simple, but they were a classic design, and since we're going with a Carrera marble and that classic look, what do you think if we do these? I think that looks great. I think they'll look great with the pulls. We'll place all these on the doors. Are you thinking about putting the pull and the knob, or just the knob? I'd like to put these on all the drawers and these on the doors. Cool. I think that's a great combination. That'll work out really well for us. Great combination. Okay. Well, you know, we've got some problems with the peeling paint issue here, and this is one of those examples. I'm going to go ahead and take this on out to Bob. He's working on it in the garage, and I'll let you get busy putting hardware on. Okay. Thanks, Dale. Thanks very much. You like the green? You like the green you got? You know, I like the mint green on the cabinets, but I've got a problem with them, and that is that the paint is starting to chip and peel. Well, you know, we looked at replacing all of these cabinets, and it was just way too expensive. It was going to be like $25,000, $30,000. And so instead, I like the color. I asked you if you could patch it, and you said, sure you could. You still believe that now? I do. Okay, what's the process? Now, you're going to be able to find it. Once we get finished, I mean, this is a patch job, I know. It's a patch. Okay. Now, what are you going to do exactly? Walk me through the process.
Well, what I've done is, first thing is we took a drawer front to the paint company and got a match of where it was not glazed. This is the base color.
Okay, behind it.
Behind the drawer. This is the drawer, the knob went there to pull out. You just screw it off and there's the color that will match. You can see where it took us a couple times to get exactly the right color.
All right, so that's your base color.
Right.
And what are you going to have to do? Are you going to have to strip that whole corner off?
Well, I'm going to be real careful with it. If you've got kids, they've been picking at this for a long time.
And husbands, yeah.
Oh, okay. But you just very carefully, really with just your fingernail, don't get fancy with an X-Acto knife or something, and take off the loose paint. And you'll start feeling where you're getting to solid paint.
Right, we just want to get to where it hasn't released yet from the primer.
And then what I'm going to do is, there's no reason to peel back here.
Okay.
So I'm going to just start sanding here. So I'm sanding that wood and just a little bit of that paint on the edge, so that I'm making this paint a little bit thinner.
Okay, what sandpaper are you using?
This is a 220, but I'm getting down to 600 and even finer as I get farther along. So what I'm doing here is I'm also putting a little tooth on that edge of the paint, because this finish here is designed so that nothing sticks to it, which would include my primer.
Okay.
So by having that little tooth right there on the edge, I can start filling this in with my primer.
Okay. And now you're working with oil-based paint?
I'm using a latex.
Okay.
I try to use as much low VOC and green stuff as I can.
Okay. And how many layers are you going to have to put on there?
Well, I've thinned the primer to start with, the sealer, so if there is a bit of a gap under there, it'll crawl under there and act as an adhesive to hold this paint edge down.
Okay.
And I'll do that all the way across. Then I'll start building up the paint that matches this. And I've thinned it a little bit also, so I can control the layers.
And then you're going to reglaze it all when you get down to that point.
It'll all be reglazed. And it shouldn't have to be polyed after that, because we're using an exterior type enamel.
Okay.
And my glaze that I use is an exterior rated, so it's not going anywhere.
Perfect. Speaking of no, it's there, what are all these blue pieces of tape for?
Well, as I get working, it's pretty easy to see where I'm working here. But when I get to here, it starts disappearing. And when you get over here, this one's almost finished. If that little piece of blue tape wasn't on it, you'd have to take a few minutes to find where it was.
Yeah, so you do such good work, Bob.
Well, if there's a second or third or fourth or fifth place that I was patched on there,
you don't want to miss it.
Right, I'd get a call from you or whoever was in the house and say, you might have missed something here.
Okay, now this, we're not saving these knobs, so you can just, you don't have to keep those.
I hope you're doing something wonderful with them.
We're going to have you put them in a bag, and we're going to give them to Habitat for Humanity.
Thank you.
Go right out to somebody else's kitchen.
Perfect.
So you're going to do the cabinets. You're going to get them done. You said it's going to take you about 10 or 12 hours to touch all this up, and then they'll look as good as new when we're all set. In any major remodeling project like we're doing here, it's always a good idea to have a general contractor. On For Your Home, we've got our own personal general contractor, and that's Luke Miller. Hey, Luke, how's this project going?
Coming along greatly.
Well, we had people to do cabinets, we had people to do countertops, but we really needed somebody to coordinate it all together, and that's, of course, where you always come in.
Right. I've been here for the beginning, coordinating everybody, getting all the electrical stuff, where it needs to go. Came up with a couple issues, but everything came out pretty smoothly now.
Yeah, I know the electrical was a big deal because in the old countertop, it was higher in the front, and so we had some outlets in there. What did you find when you got inside of there?
Well, when we took everything down, I found, there was just a stud wall, and we just took those outlets, removed them, and ended up putting one on this back side of this wall. So
Okay.
we didn't need all of them across there.
Yeah, so if we want to plug in something like, a warming tray or something like that, we can go right down to that area.
There. Yep.
Okay, that's good. But we also had some issues in regards to the new cabinet that Dale built for us for the wall, for the electricity. What did you have to do there?
Right. There was 4 switches on there, and we ended up having to move them around to the side of the cabinet. One is inside the cabinet. There's a chase that the cabinet guy built that we could run our wires and put our box in there. So that's on the side.
Chase is just a fake hollow area.
Just a hollow area inside there to pull the wires through.
Okay, all right. And then for the top, this was an issue I created because there was no lighting over this. It's always bothered me.
Right.
And I wanted to hang these beautiful pendant lights from there with these great shades on them and this platinum trim on it. It looked like a great project, but you found some problems there too.
Of course. There was some can lights up there that needed to be removed. And so we took them out, ended up patching those holes and running a new wire through. So we ended up cutting another hole in the ceiling just to feed this wire down.
You're all full of holes, you know it?
Of course. But you know, they're going to be sanded out nicely and you won't even see them, they'll disappear.
Yeah, because we wanted to operate these on a separate switch than the regular can lights in the kitchen.
Right.
Because if you're having a party or something, you know, you're going to want to set a mood and just have these lights going. Now, I originally ordered 3 of these, but then when you started measuring, you said too many.
Right, the space wouldn't allow it. This cabinet sits right here and the door opens. It would be swinging in close to one of them, so we spread them out, you know, eliminated one and spread them out a little bit more.
You know, and that's what I hadn't thought about, is like the cabinet, I took that into account and measured from the edge of the cabinet to the end of the peninsula, but I didn't think about that door, and that was a big issue for us.
Right.
So I brought it down to 2. Now, more holes. Did you do all these holes on my wall?
Those were not my holes. Those were there originally. The cabinet's going to cover those up.
Okay.
They're just there. This one's there to access a junction box.
All right, so you coordinated everybody coming in here. We got the plumber disconnected. We didn't make any major changes there, just a new sink.
Right. We're just changing out the sink and keeping the original faucet.
Yeah, because they were in great shape. Yeah, we're trying to keep the cost down on this project, and then the electrical was really, I guess, the biggest mechanical part of the whole project. Well, Luke, I know you got some painting to do. You got cabinets to put back and finish supervising things to get it going.
Yep.
So, as always, you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right.
Everybody loves to save money and energy. Did you know that your refrigerator is the second most power-consuming appliance in your home? It comes in right after air conditioners. In fact, it uses about 14% of your energy every month. And depending on how old your refrigerator is, it can even be greater than that. If your refrigerator was built before 2001, it can cost you as much as $140 a year to operate. But if it's after 2001 and it's an average size, it's an Energy Star appliance, it's only going to cost you about $43 a year. So that's a big savings. Now, it also makes a difference in what style of refrigerator you buy. You know, we really get into style, but we want to think about how it uses up energy. I'm afraid I didn't come out as a winner on this one. A side-by-side uses more electricity than a refrigerator that has a freezer at the bottom. And the most efficient one of all of them is the one that has a freezer at the top, the old conventional style. So if you're going to have a refrigerator like a side-by-side, and then you're going to add a dispenser for ice in the door, you're really going to be consuming a lot more electricity. But when you average out the electricity that you lose opening and closing your freezer to get ice out, they pretty well balance out. You know, sometimes we just have to make a sacrifice for style. If you're not in the market to buy a new refrigerator, you can still save energy costs by doing a little testing of the temperature inside your refrigerator and your freezer. Now, you need to have the temperature on your refrigerator side set between 36 and 40 degrees. On the freezer side, between 0 and 5 degrees. Even a variance of 5 to 10 degrees from those numbers can cost you as much as 25% more every month to run your refrigerator. How do you test it? Well, for the refrigerator side, take a thermometer, put it in a container of water, set it inside of your refrigerator, and leave it for 24 hours, then come back and check it. All the dust has settled in my new kitchen, and I couldn't be happier. It's only been 10 days since Jerry from Habitat for Humanity showed up and started taking out the old granite countertops. Dale's team did a wonderful job on rebuilding this peninsula and creating the new wall cabinet. It's exactly the way he and I designed it. And the match of all the paint colors, well, that turned out perfect as well. Thanks to Bob, Nulf, and Dale's team again. The countertops, well, I've been dreaming of these white marble countertops for years, so you know I'm really pleased with this. They turned out absolutely beautiful. The whole job turned out great. And as I said, it only took 10 days, and that's because we were really well organized before we got started. Line up all your tradesmen, get your plan down, order all your materials. That way you're not without a kitchen for very long. Now, I can really look around now and say, gee, I love my kitchen again. I hope these ideas we've shared with you will help you do an affordable, easy to handle kitchen makeover at your house. Now, next time on For Your Home, we got an exciting project lined up. We're going to take you through the process of building a new custom home. It's going to be lots of fun. It's going to go over a period of 6 weeks. We will show you how to pick out your lot, decide on your builder, get a home designer, every single step that you need to know from the construction stage all the way to the final decorating and landscaping. So if you think you might be in the market for building a new home, you're not going to want to miss this new series. Hope to see you next time on For Your Home.
If you would like additional information about today's guests or project ideas, please visit us on the web at foryourhome.com. We will do our best to help you out. For Your Home is made possible by
Shaw Floors offers distinctive flooring options to fit a variety of decors. Shaw strives to have a positive impact on the environment by producing recyclable products like Anso nylon carpets and Epic hardwoods. Shaw, where great floors begin.
And by Ames. Ames True Timber has offered innovative landscape products since 1774, providing non-powered lawn and garden tools, wheelbarrows and lawn carts, watering products and decorative accessories, including planters. And by
Custom Home Furnishings Academy, where the professionals learn to sew window treatments.